What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Lawson from Squad Sports. We're really excited to be supporting the Free Agent Friday series. A lot of great talent out there. Without further ado, this is the next free agent you should be signing with your sports team.
All right, we're back for another Free Agent Friday, and today I've got Tara Parker with me. How's it going, Tara?
It is going so well. I am in San Antonio, Texas. It's a little cloudy today, a little off of the usual super sunny and super hot, but I was just explaining that I've got my three cats in here to keep me company on the
Good.
day.
Well, hopefully we'll get to meet them at some point.
I also hope the same.
Well, let's get started. Tell us about your school experience, where you went to school, degrees.
Absolutely. So I went to the University of South Carolina, started back in 2012, and went there, got 2 degrees, one in hospitality management and one in retail management, and a minor in sport and entertainment management. So a lot of management degrees. I went there with a hope and a dream that I could become a collegiate mascot, which came true. So I was also cocky. If you're familiar with what he looks like, I transformed into a giant rooster and had the absolute pleasure and honor of representing him not only for athletic events, but also for what we called Cocky's Reading Express, which went to different zip codes all around South Carolina and brought them free books and resources to education and teaching them the importance of reading. So I had a lot of fun in my college experience, getting to see a lot of community and a lot of what athletics and sports can do and bridging that gap. It was amazing.
I mean, you got to get in the mascot at least once in your life if you're in sports. I mean, that's what I say. I mean, I've never done like an event, but I was like the little kid whenever the package would come in the mail, like with the new mascot.
Yes.
That's when I would do it before anybody else got all dirty and sweaty in there. But
gross. Yes. Very gross. Luckily, I had my own suit. So I could clean and take care of that one on my own and not have to share it, but it can be pretty gross at times.
Nice. At what point did you decide you wanted to get into the sports business?
It was really after my experiences of being cocky that led me to understanding that I have a passion for it. Just seeing how people react to the celebrity, to the persona of not only mascots, but actual athletes as well, and the responsibility and the weight that comes with being a figure in the sports world to connect and give the community hope, resources, education, whatever it may be. Just seeing that connection really inspired me to want to pursue that as a career. So after I left University of South Carolina, graduated with the big yellow feet across the stage, I went to Tampa, Florida, and interned in their community relations department. So that was my real first full-on experience understanding just how people react to the folks in their positions that they have, football players, even coaches, staff, mascots, cheerleaders, and seeing just how much they can give back to the community is kind of what started my passion for it.
So you were with the Tampa Bay Bucs, is that?
Yes. And now they've got, it's Tom Brady's birthday today too. So
wow.
They've got a lot going on down in their world, and I'm really excited for all my friends who still work there. And
how rough is that though now with COVID, where you sign Tom Brady, who's gonna like sell every seat in that stadium out, all the excitement, and now fans probably won't be able to watch or a limited number. I mean that's rough.
It goes to show that we can have a plan and we can have our next 12 months mapped out of marketing campaigns and what programming we're going to do and how we're going to get people in seats at games, even though it's not a hard sell to go and watch Tom Brady and Gronkowski together at this point. Are you kidding? Yeah. But it just goes to show that you never know what can happen and how it is super important too in the sports world to just be able to adjust on the fly, be creative, be innovative, be flexible, because you end up in a circumstance like this. The show's got to go on somehow if it can go on, and how are you going to make it work? So
always got to be able to pivot.
Absolutely.
I wish I still had my season tickets because I'd be able to get rid of them now. So what kind of stuff were you working on with the Bucs? What kind of projects, experience did you have there?
They're really just kind of dipping my toe into full programming of community. So a lot of what we were doing there was player activations. One of my favorite events, Jameis Jamboree, he would host something for the community, his own passion, and we would help execute. Or I remember my first event was a pumpkin patch and just getting kids to come out to the facility and spend quality time with their families and getting to know the players and people in the front office there. So also had a hand in doing their social media for their cheerleaders account as well, helping run their auditions. It was kind of all over the place, which I really appreciated that they gave us that opportunity to figure out exactly what area of community did I love the most. So it was a 6-month internship at that point in time, back in 2016. And I was like, all right, being in community is something that I love and I want to continue to explore. It was amazing.
What was kind of like your next few roles, after that internship?
Yeah. So of course, we all know sports world, everybody kind of wants to be in it. And at that point in time, there was no position open and available full time in the Buccaneers. So I ended up going to a nonprofit called Softworks. It's SOFWERX. A lot of people, how do you pronounce it? How's it spelled? Whatever. Different kind of community. This one is focused on serving special operations forces in the United States, Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever it may be. We would help bring together the right people in the right room to innovate technology, to keep them safer, to bring them home after their deployments, after their missions. So that was a whole new world for me in understanding community in a different sense. I was doing PR and communications for them. I was doing a lot of leading tours for VIPs or CEOs from companies, a lot of event planning, a lot of strategic communication planning. So it was a small nonprofit. It is completely funded by the United States Special Operations Command, and just understanding the relationship of government to technology, it's fascinating. I loved it. And I truly believe that without that experience of going into a different world and stepping outside of sports for a little bit, I don't think I would have ended up at the Spurs. I really think that lessons that I learned there and tools that I learned there really did bridge me to end up at the Spurs, which goes to show too that you never know just how a connection can come into play, even if it's not in sports. It's amazing to see.
So how did you end up at the Spurs?
Yeah, so I came out here, San Antonio, October 2018, and the power of LinkedIn is amazing, I must say. I have a friend, his name's Andrew Holman, and he interned at the Buccaneers a semester after I did. And I remember commenting on his post that he had been selected to go and intern with them. And I just said, hey, congratulations. If you ever have any questions about the Buccaneers culture or about Tampa, I'm more than happy to answer anything for you. Not thinking much of anything, right? Fast forward, Andrew starts to intern with the Spurs, and he sees one day that I had posted on my LinkedIn, I'm looking for opportunities. If anyone has anything, please pass it along. And he reaches out and says, hey, we've got this open position that I am aware of that has to do with fundraising for the nonprofit of the Spurs, if you want to take a look at it. So because of that one small comment years ago, we kept that connection. He reached out and told me, here's a job. And then we met in person at Chipotle for lunch one day before I officially applied, just so he could as well get a feel for me. And and he was willing to step out on the line to go talk to the folks involved in selecting whoever was going to fill this position, to let them know that I was a worthy candidate of their selection process. And yeah, because of that,
Pretty cool.
it was an amazing story. So Andrew, if you watch this, thank you for helping me get in there. So yeah, it was a connection through LinkedIn that kind of really led me to the Spurs organization.
And so what did you focus on with the Spurs then?
Yeah, when I started, we were still Silver and Black Give Back, went through a whole rebranding process, and now is known as Spurs Give as of earlier this year. So when I started, it was grassroots fundraising. So focused on auctions, focused on merchandise, focused on events for the community. I had a lot of fun planning bingo, which those are huge here in San Antonio. Bingo is the thing. So we would do bingo fundraisers, and the nonprofit is actually a 501c3. It's not funded by the Spurs like people may think. So we are legitimately year-round fundraising for the programming. So just a really fun time getting to be creative with the tip-off t-shirts, or around playoff time. Of course, everybody loves the Fiesta colors that the Spurs will bring in, those retro colors, and just watching people's reactions to anything that we would design and fundraise in that way. We would do, there's a local bar here in San Antonio that every month they donate to nonprofits. And we, luckily enough, had David Robinson and his son come out and do a trivia night with us, and just got my hands in a lot of different really cool experiences and getting connected with San Antonio community itself. There's a lot of incredible people that reside in this city, small business owners, smaller nonprofits. It was an incredible experience to witness and be a part of all of that. As COVID started, of course, this last year, and it was a Friday the 13th. I was just talking about this with someone. It was Friday the 13th that it happened, which I usually love those. But from that point, of course, for everybody, everything shifted. And one of the biggest fundraisers that I did during this time was another t-shirt campaign. We did it with Ken's 5, which is a local news station here in San Antonio. Again, with the support of the Robinsons, they came on, and we had a phenomenal fundraiser. That was my highest grossing fundraiser since I had been there, which goes to show as well, people are looking to support right now, and people are looking to help if they can help. So I got to dive a little bit more into programming and helping figure out how can we support local restaurants, local commerce, how can we make sure that we're getting the needs to the people in our community who are desperately looking for it, how can we make it known to how they can access it. So COVID shifted my primary, of course, being community events, more to virtual engagement, virtual fundraising, and it's still kind of in that phase of life for them and for most companies right now, still just kind of sticking to virtual. So I had my hand in a lot of different things.
So what would you say is kind of your ideal position that you're looking for now?
Yeah, I love people. As much as I love cats, I love people, and I love talking to people. I love helping people. Those are my 3 things in life that brings me joy. So I don't really have an answer for you as far as I want to be this very specific position at this organization doing this. I think ultimately what it comes down to for me is an access to build relationships with people, to have them have a connection to the brand that I represent, and continue to help people, continue to bring them resources, bring them joy, bring them happiness, bring them a smile in this time that is very difficult for a multitude of reasons for all of us. So ideal position, I mean, I would like to continue in community if I can, but I do understand, like with Softworks, there's other ways of being connected in the community, even if it's not community departments. So as long as I just get to be with people and talk to people. It's not
what would you say is your biggest asset that you'll bring to a new position?
I really think at this point I have learned that it is my personality, and it's a huge, oddly enough, struggle for me to accept that. During quarantine, I've gotten super into reading and personality types, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with an Enneagram test or those types of personalities, but essentially what it comes down to is that my personality is a helper and loves to connect people, and I've recognized that. But also what comes with that is a sense of, oh my God, I don't really know how to accept that I'm a pretty awesome person. How do I do this? So that's been an area of growth for me over this time period. But I do think that that's the strongest thing that I have to offer is, I would say if you talk to any of the connections on my LinkedIn that know me very well, that have worked with me, or friends, of course, they're a little biased, but I've heard quite often that I'm very good at building genuine relationships with people, having them care for the cause, because if they can trust the person that's explaining the cause to them, then they want to continue to support it. So
yeah, definitely.
Personality, I guess.
What's the area you need to work on the most?
Gosh, probably just Excel. Math. It's just not my thing. I've always been a very language oriented person. Been always writing my entire life, reading my entire life. And then you put something to do with math in front of me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need an extra 30 minutes for this.
Don't deal with the numbers then. Don't deal with the numbers.
Oh my gosh, our staff accountant, I would always bug her with the questions, and that's something I am actively trying to learn and trying to better myself with. And she was so kind, would always take the time to walk me through, here's how you use this Excel formula, or here's how you manipulate this to get this to work easier. And I learned a lot from her, but that's definitely a skill that I want to be able to confidently say when people ask, well, how's your skill in Microsoft Excel? It's good. It is. I am talented in that, but I want to be like, wow, she knows her stuff. She knows how to work this.
Yeah.
That would be it.
How would you define success?
Oh, what a question. There's so many different ways to define success. If it's professionally, if it's personally, if it's organizationally, there's a lot of different tiers to that. You know, I think for me, if I'm going to personally define success, I think it just comes down to, did I make the person that I'm working with walk away feeling better than they did walking up to me and start working with me? I think it's a successful relationship if I've built the trust, if that person feels like they can approach me, they know that I will offer my help, they know that I will be there for them. I think that's a personal level of defining success. Professionally, of course, all these metrics and different goals that I need to hit or whatever, it varies on each. Organizationally, are we winning as a team? Are we getting enough out into the community? It varies a lot. But I just think ultimately for me personally, success is defined by, are you, again, being helpful? Am I being helpful to the people? Am I helping them succeed as well? That would be my definition of success.
Are you open to relocation?
I am. I don't want to say I'm not. I do love the city of San Antonio. I have been looking into Austin. Austin is a great city. It's growing immensely right now, just like San Antonio is, though. I know that San Antonio is one of the top booming cities in America right now. But I started in Virginia. I went to South Carolina. I went to Florida. Now I'm here. So I have learned that I am able to do it, and I'm able to put myself in those environments and learn how to flourish in them. Um, so yeah, if the right opportunity comes along, I just have to pack up 3 cats and here we go. We're
3
on it.
cats. Wow. That's a lot of work.
You know, it's a lot.
Is that counting the cat behind you?
No,
Okay.
4 if we really want to.
Okay. All right. Do you have pictures of your cats throughout your place?
I used to, and then they fell off the wall. I live in a very old building, and so the nails aren't very sturdy in the wall.
All right. Well, you can't use that as your fun fact, but give us a fun fact about you.
Fun fact. Okay. It's not a fun fact. It's just a known fact about me in general. I love Taylor Swift, obsessed with her, but a real fun fact is I have taken up rollerblading over quarantine, and I probably last month alone, I want to say probably skated 50 hours. I've probably put hundreds of miles on them over quarantine. I rollerbladed here and there when I was growing up. It wasn't a real like, I love rollerblading. But every day I am out in San Antonio for 16 miles, just out there enjoying life, listening to music, getting to see the people of San Antonio and just people watching. So I've been getting really into rollerblading. I would
Did you
say
just buy the rollerblades or you had these from before?
my stepmom got them for me as a gift. I kind of just mentioned it one day. I was like, it'd be fun if I could start rollerblading again. And then a few days later, there was a knock on my door with a present of, here's some rollerblades. What? So
Nice.
trust me, they have gotten gotten the use out of those for sure.
Nice. Well, Tara, thank you for joining me and your cats who have made some appearances. Hopefully, we'll get you back working somewhere in the community soon.
I certainly hope so. And thank you for doing this and helping so many people out. You're checking off my box of success over here. So thank you for allowing us this opportunity to share and see what happens. It's awesome.